Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Females Thriving Over 30 podcast. So, what if the happiest ending isn't the one society wrote for you? Because for years, we've been told that the ultimate life plan was simple: find the partner, buy the house, have the kids. But what happens when you choose a different path or when life takes you somewhere else entirely? So, today's episode is all about being child free, challenging outdated expectations, and building a life that's full of purpose, connection, and joy on your own terms. So, whether you are child free by choice or you are childless not by choice, a parent, or you're just simply curious, this conversation might just change the way you think what a fulfilling life really looks like. So, before we get into it, Jasmine, how have you been?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. What have you been up to this week?
So, what have I been up to? So, I go on a holiday in 2 days. So, I've been preparing for holiday. We're only taking hand luggage as a family, so we've only got the three of us have got 3 backpacks. So I always feel like that's like a fun challenge to see what you can actually take and fit into a backpack. But we are saying somewhere where we can wash clothes if we really needed to. So I think I've always, I don't know if you've been the same, and I can't remember if we've talked about this before or not, but whenever I used to go on holiday when I was younger, I always packed really light.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed when I go on holiday, not taking many products, not I don't really dress up on holiday that much, like heels or anything. So I've always packed really light, and there's something that I really like about that. So I'm thinking I've never done it in a backpack until this time. So I'm interested to see how I feel about it when I'm there. I think because I'm such an indecisive person, part of the holiday is not having to make decisions about what I'm going to wear and all of that. So I almost think maybe it's going to be even more relaxing.
Yeah.
So I'll report back.
I've been traveling this past few times. Even when I was out for one night, I was flying for one night, or it's 2 days at a place, but just flying for one night. I used to travel with the little trolley, right?
Yeah.
And the past 2 trips that I've done that were like that, I was just going with a backpack, but literally, the backpack is the computer, the charger, and everything like that.
Yeah.
And then just the smallest place for everything else. And it's quite nice, actually.
Yeah, I feel like it makes you be just decisive about what you're going to take.
Yeah.
And actually outfit plan. Whereas usually I would just I would think I would just take. I mean, most of my outfits are quite most of my clothes kind of go together because I wear things within a certain kind of color scheme and stuff, I guess. Very boring clothes, probably. But normally I would just pick out a load of my clothes that I like and put them in. Whereas because I've got only a small amount, I've had to kind of try everything on and make sure that I've got outfits to wear. So it makes you be a bit more thoughtful about what you're actually taking. So yeah, I'm packing for that. Been prepping for that. And as I mentioned earlier, I wanted to talk about Garrett Graham.
Oh, yeah. Please tell me.
Because I keep seeing all these posts about it and stuff like that. I was thinking why is it that women of a certain age seem to be so obsessed with this character? So if people aren't aware, it's the character from Off Campus. I feel like a lot of people have watched it now, so I'm sure a lot of people will be aware of it, or at least seen a post about it, because it seems to be a big thing. And you know what I realised today? It got me thinking about that episode we did of our teenage crushes, our childhood.
Yeah.
The reason why everyone's so obsessed with him that's our age is because he looks like the heartthrobs of all the films when we were younger.
Do you think they made that on purpose? Because I have not really seen him before. And if we did, maybe he had a different look. Maybe this is the look that they did to appeal to a bigger audience.
Yeah, because don't you think, I was thinking about it and I thought, that's it. I'm pretty sure Bruno's really in my face tonight. It keeps popping up. I was thinking, I'm sure actually, thinking about it, he looks like a lot of the people that we picked out in that episode. And we were saying in that episode, they just don't make them the same. All the current heartthrobs are not anything like what we had. And he is like the heartthrobs of our time. So I just thought that was really interesting. I thought maybe maybe the good taste is coming back. Maybe they're bringing that back,
Oh,
and maybe that's
that'll be
why everyone in our
great.
generation is obsessed.
Yes. Please do that.
So yeah, what about you? What have you been doing?
Oh, one second. I've made a list because I had a few things that I wanted to mention, and otherwise I will forget because, my brain is not what it used to be. So Spain won the World Cup on Sunday. Woohoo! Woohoo! Yay! It was the most stressful game I have ever seen. And the thing is, everybody was telling me, like, what do you think it's going to be? And I'm like, I swear this is going to be like when we won the first World Cup. It's just going to be at the very end. Like, there's going to be extra time, and that's when it's going to happen. And then as I was watching the game, it's like, why did I manifest this? Like, I should have manifested it was gonna be like a more dynamic game. I mean, to be honest, it was really good. Spain played very well. The way that they were trying to get into the goal, what's it called, the goal, go. And then Argentina was just defending. They were never crossing to the other side of the pitch. So I was just like, everything was like concentrating on one side. I was getting like so stressed because of the amount of fouls that happened and that they were not, what's it like?
Yeah, they weren't doing anything about it.
Yeah.
From Argentina. My
Yeah.
husband mentioned this to me because he said that happened when they played England as well. That there seems to be like a favoritism, and they were never, because I watched a little bit. I didn't watch the whole game, even the last one, but I watched bits of it, and I was like keeping up with what was happening. And I saw that Argentina fouled Spain, and they did nothing.
Yeah.
And then 2 minutes later, it was like the other way around, and then they were doing something about it. I was like, what is this?
It was so stressful, so stressful. I mean, at the end, we won, very well-deserved win, a lot of celebrations and everything like that. But I paid the price big time yesterday and today. That I literally had no idea that. I mean, yeah, I knew stress, like anything that is stressful and cortisol gets you inflamed, right? But I really didn't think that was going to affect my endometriosis as much. And literally yesterday and today, the morning is basically when I have my flares, usually it's always in the morning. Horrible. And I was like, come on. I was just getting into my routine, going to the gym. I was been so excited for my new plan this week and 2 days of doing nothing. And I was like, ugh, honestly, not worth watching the game. I should have just kept myself watching on Google and just refreshing the Google to see what was happening.
Yeah. But it says a lot, doesn't it? It's quite scary because it makes you think everything you've been going through, especially over the past few years, and the amount of stress that creates. It's no wonder that you've been in agony so many times. And I guess from maybe feeling better to having that experience of the stress through that just shows the difference. And it's,
my goodness, terrible.
Yeah.
But anyway, what else do I have here? Oh yeah. So I started going now to this Queens Who brunch meeting, once a month with people around the area. And when we were at the brunch, there was a fly going around and around and around. And then one of the ladies went "Oh no, this is the bad ones." And I'm like, "What do you mean this is the bad ones?" So I felt like all flies are, I mean, I don't like flies. I felt like all flies were bad, And she was like, no, there is these green ones are really bad because they go and then they just get into animals and just leave eggs and larvae and stuff, and they grow in it. So if any step on your food and it's not being covered, you need to throw it away because I'm having eggs and everything in it. I'm like, what? New fear unlocked. What do you mean? I need to check the freaking color of the flies.
I hate as I speak, I've got about 4 flies that have got in. This from having the back doors open, isn't it? And I'm sat right near the back of the house where the doors are onto the garden. So there's always flies in here, and I have to get out of my own head because if I'm eating and I see a fly nearby, I've always worried about flies on my food. But now, this is a new layer. Now I'm going to be getting my little magnifying glass out. I'm going to be checking. I'm going to be checking the color.
Terrible. Terrible. Anyway, I have one more thing to show you, but I forgot downstairs. So once.
Oh, okay.
The last thing that happened this week, I won an award for my work.
Yay! Wow.
It's the most transformational operations leader 2026.
Oh, of course she is.
Acquisition International is the Business Leaders Award 2026.
Oh, well done. Woo! This is why we're females thriving over 30. This is why.
Well, we do, so I'm excited.
Oh, that's nice. I know you work so hard, so it's nice for you to be recognized for that as well. Yeah.
So today we're joined by the founders of DINK Social, the app creating a community for people who are child-free by choice, help them find friendships, relationships, and a sense of belonging in a world that often assumes everybody wants the same future. So let's let them in. Hello.
Hi.
How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good. So we've done a little intro about DINK Social and everything like that. But for our listeners that don't know you, can you introduce yourselves? Like, tell us a little bit about each of you, and then we'll start with the questions.
Sure. Well, my name is Allie, and this is my husband, Charlie. We are the co-founders of DINK Social, the first child-free couples social app. We are from Charlotte, North Carolina, but currently live in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. We've been here for 4.5 years, I think now. We have 2 dogs. They're our whole world, I would say. And I think I see a little dog.
My dog was like, "What did you say?" New friends.
I love that. And we've been together for, since 2018. We matched on Hinge. Shout out to all of the couples who met through swiping. And we've been married since 2021.
Yeah.
So 5 years now. I think that's, a quick high level overview of us.
Amazing.
So can you tell us a little bit about kind of how the app came about? So kind of the story behind kind of I guess your journey as a couple, and then how the app then came to be.
Yeah. When we moved out to Amsterdam, I would say we were inundated with a lot of visitors, all of our friends, which was great, right? That was a big thing that we were excited for when we made the move back in 2022 to Europe. And then over a period of time, we slowly realized that those friends just kind of stopped coming to visit. And when we look back at it, really the times that they came to visit, it was their last hurrah before they had a kid, which is no problem. Like we were happy for them. That's great. But it did start to open up a void in our life of just the folks that were on the same page as us, with the ability to travel and catch up and talk about things randomly and whatnot. So I don't know. One night, I think we were out to dinner and probably had a couple glasses of wine and we were complaining about it. And, so we just decided to say, hey, well, there's got to be something out there, right? There's got to be some place that'll allow couples to find other couples who have maybe made this decision. Yeah. And sure enough, there wasn't. So we were just like, hey, let's build it. Let's try and build it. And so we can get into the story of when we actually started it. But that was kind of the premise. I mean, we just realized there was a void in our life and there wasn't a place to fill it. So we tried to create it.
It's so interesting because I've never thought about it in this way before. I have a daughter, but I've met so many families through like my daughter's school and preschool so obviously I had my friends before, but then I've also met loads of people. It's quite social because you're meeting people. Whereas if you have friends that then go on to have children and you aren't doing that, like where do you make your friends? It's like such a valid point.
And friends with the same interests, right? Because obviously like when you meet at school and with other parents, you talk a lot about your children and everything like that. And maybe, it's not the same when you're talking with a couple that doesn't have kids. So when did you both realize that, having kids was not in your plans?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say there was well, maybe there was one specific thing that kind of put the, I guess I would say, nail in the coffin on that for us. But when we first got together, Charlie was a little bit more on the no kids train than I was. I think I was just kind of 50-50. It's like, could happen. Also okay if it doesn't. I was super lucky, as was Charlie, that neither of our families put pressure on us to have kids. My mom always said, you do not have to have kids. It is a choice. So I feel very lucky to have a mother that, didn't put that pressure on me. So I think that's why I was a little bit 50-50. I just didn't know. And then as time went on, I think my 50-50 started to be like, okay, 60% no, 70% no. And it just based off of how we were living our lives, how I was envisioning our future. And I think I was in the beginning 50-50 because I thought, well, I'm sure I keep hearing, when I turn 30, when I turn 32, like there's going to be something that's going to happen inside of me that's going to be like, I'm ready to have a baby. Like this, I cannot wait to be a mom. And I never felt that. I don't think I'll feel it in the next few years, but it just, I never felt it. And then we decided to get a puppy about 2.5 years ago. And that was hard. That was very, very hard. The late nights, no sleep, like constant having to watch him eating things he shouldn't be eating, like randomly diarrhea and throwing up. And it was just like, oh my gosh. And like throughout that whole process of having a puppy, Charlie and I kept saying, can you imagine if we had a baby or a child? Oh my gosh. And we were just so exhausted. And I think it just kind of opened up that world and us experiencing a small snippet of what it would be like to care for a human child. And we just thought, yeah, I don't think this is for us. So we were already pretty positive it wasn't. But then, yeah, we got the puppy and we were like, that's it. No, thank you.
I very much relate to that. And you'll think I'm crazy because I had a baby and a puppy at the same time.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And actually, my daughter slept through the night. The dog did not. So, yeah, I've been there. We thought it would be a good idea to get it out of the way all at once. And I guess it's worked out now. By the time, it was a strange decision to make. So obviously you came about the idea of the app and you started to think about like building the app. Kind of what did the early stages of that look like? And then also what kind of responses did you get from other people as you started to talk about it?
We kind of took two paths when we were trying to build it out early. The first is really kind of to social proof it, right? Is this something that other people are going to be interested in? And so Allie created a TikTok and an Instagram and just started kind of putting the word out there that we were coming out with something. And then in parallel, I created a landing page for us to collect essentially people's interests and emails and contact info if this was something they were interested in.
Kind of like a wait list.
Yeah, a wait list. And I think we had done a video on TikTok and it kind of blew up really early.
Yeah.
And then when we put the landing page out, I remember I was working till like midnight to try and ensure that it would work properly. And then we woke up the next morning and there were 500, I think like 500 something people that had already signed up on the wait list. And we were like, oh, this is going to go a lot faster than we thought it would.
Yeah.
And then from there, we went and actually started building. And Allie continued focusing on the social media. I gained an advisor who really taught me the ropes of coding because we originally went down the path of, let's go outsource this and hire a firm somewhere. But at the end of the day, they just wouldn't have the vision that we have.
Yeah.
And we'd always have to go back to them. So I got to learn a new skill set over the past year and how to code and build. And we went through a web app and then we finally released our Apple and iOS or Apple and Android apps in the stores in January. So
yeah. I think also what helped us and what went really well is that we built the community online before having the product, before having the app. And to be honest, it wasn't that I meant to. It was just we started talking about it, putting it out there. And like Charlie said, suddenly everyone was like, wait a second, I've been looking for this. Like, I didn't even realize I was looking for this. This is great. Oh my gosh. So it was just such positive feedback. And so we kind of curated that community already through social. So then by the time we had the actual web app and then the app in the app store, everyone was already like, heck yes, like I'm here for this. This is so exciting, versus creating the product and then trying to push the product out. We had already kind of created this community, which was great. I was really happy that there were so many other people that were looking for this. Yeah.
I mean, that's where I found you guys on TikTok. Also, I don't know how it popped up because I was not looking for that content at all. Truth is, I'm going through my own fertility journey, and it's quite scary because I think our phones, apart from hearing us, they read our minds.
Yeah.
And I think I was at a moment where like, okay, what if this doesn't work and it's just going to be us, right?
Yeah.
Am I going to be okay with it? And then one of your posts pop up and I was like, oh, actually, that's pretty nice. It's like, oh, actually, that's pretty nice. It kind of like helping, it kind of like helped me as well to get okay with the idea of it might not happen, and that, you know, there is people out there that have no kids and have a really fulfilled life, and they have friends and there are things that you can do. And it's just not going to be that I'm just going to be here alone and I'm going to die by myself because no one is going to come and just find me. If I die, it's going to be just my cats. No, I'm going to have a community. It's going to be like, she has not checked in for a while. Maybe something happened. So yeah, I think you guys have done a great job with the social media side of things because it's reaching a lot of people. And when you started the app, was it mostly people in the States or was like everywhere? Because I see that you have something coming up in London soon.
Yes, we do. Yes. So it's interesting because obviously we're Americans, but we live in the Netherlands. And so, you know, kind of our initial strategy was, oh, do we open it up in certain cities? Like, do we pick Amsterdam and I don't know, London, like some certain cities and open it up there? And we were like, let's just kind of have a free for all, open it up to everyone, see what happens. And it definitely took off in the States. And I don't know if it's maybe just because when we were talking on social media, because we're American, that's just kind of how the cookie crumbled. So the US definitely is our number one country where we have seen a lot of adoption, a lot of folks joining. But then also the UK is our second largest space. Then different countries in Europe. And actually, we've started to see a surge from Australia over the past couple of weeks. But yeah, so definitely US is still holding strong. We have a few kind of larger metro areas like the Chicago area and New York and Charlotte that have, you know, coming up of like 200 couples in kind of each of those cities, which is really nice. So we're working on kind of density in some of those large areas, but we also have a lot of, you know, smaller areas that maybe only have 10 couples in that area, but they still have meetups and still meet up with one another, which is nice.
It's really interesting to hear the different countries, because when you said it was like Americans was your largest audience, I thought is it interesting that culturally maybe there's differences. I feel like Americans are quite open, I would say. Whereas I think people in the UK might be a little bit less open to those connections and stuff. Just I don't know if that's true, but maybe slightly culturally different. But it's good to hear that the UK is second, because I wasn't sure if that would be the case. So that's really good. Have there been any challenges you faced in creating the app, or any like unexpected conversations that you didn't think were going to come from it?
I think not a challenge per se, but maybe kind of. I think the notion of, oh, this is just going to be a swingers app or something like that. I mean, when we first posted something about it, like, God, it felt like every other comment was something about swingers or upside down pineapple and stuff like that. And so it took us really a while, especially early on, to get away from that and deter that. And I mean, we have community guidelines and all these things to prevent anything like that going on. But I mean, it really just, that was like people's first instinct. I think that was the challenging, just to really separate, just really having connection and finding friends versus the other stuff. From the build perspective, we don't need to go too deep into the weeds, but setting up the authentication, there's not really a platform out there that allows you to have a true couples profile, like couples. So if I log in and she's log in, we're in one platform.
Oh, nice.
So you act as a couple in the profile, and so the authentication and verification and all of that was a nightmare. I think I almost threw my computer out the window probably 20 times early on. But it's also been really neat because it's given us this kind of unique stance in an app that hasn't really been there before.
Yeah. I would say one of the challenges for me, and I think a little bit for you also in the beginning, was because we didn't really have a lot of negativity around us due to our choice to be child-free. When we started talking about it on social media, I was wildly surprised how many strangers on the internet feel very strongly that we need to have children, and that choosing to be child-free is not the right choice, and how we will regret it, and all these different things. And it was, I mean, there were times where I said to Charlie, I can't look at DINK social media today. Like, you have to handle it because it's affecting my mental health. I don't like it. Then I also think about like the women who are making the choice to be child-free, but maybe are child-free by circumstance. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like if they're reading these comments, like I can't even imagine how they are feeling. At least me, like I'm making this choice a little bit different, right? Like, but I just thought about all of the women or men too, who can't have children. And I think, oh my gosh, like, if they talk about them not being able to have children, do they get this type of backlash? And are they reading these comments? Are their feelings being hurt? Because mine are. And so that was hard in the beginning. Now I kind of let it roll off a little bit. Thicker skin, because we've just gotten so much of it. But in the beginning, that was really, really hard. We weren't used to it.
To be honest, I think that also helped you grow way faster, because at the end of the day, that's what the algorithm, constant comments and interaction and things like that. So, let them keep writing those things.
Yeah, they're helping us indirectly. They just don't know.
Exactly. It's just going to help you grow. And then, I also think the swinger side of thing also help you grow, because maybe a lot of people were like, oh, actually, this is interesting. So it kind of like helps. I always say, like, the other day I was having a session with one girl that is preparing for a pageant, and she's like, oh, when I posted something that I just got a lot of comments, it was really hard. The same thing, like going into social media, my post and read things and stuff. And I was like, you know what? Next time, pass the phone to your boyfriend, and your boyfriend can start reading the nice comments to you and skip the bad ones, but don't delete them, because you need them. You need them for the interaction and the engagement and all of those things. That is the only thing that TikTok and Instagram really use to promote, right? Which,
unfortunately,
it's a little bit annoying. But we actually did an episode 2 weeks ago with someone that chose to be child-free as well. And one of the things that we were mentioning is like the outrage of people out there when someone decides to do something different to what they are doing. And the fact that there are studies out there saying that in 5 years' time, half of the population are not going to have kids, and some women are even going to be single, right?
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit how the app works? Because you just mentioned about the profile being like a common one, which I think is very interesting. But we get into the app, we do our profile. What do we see? How does it work?
Yeah, so we've built it out a lot from where it started. So I can kind of talk through the journey of it. When you first join the app and you create your profile, you're brought into this kind of global forum. So think about this one communal space where people can post about anything. travel trips, asking for recommendations, things like that. So when it started out, before we had some of the density we have today, it was really just a global forum and then a way to create events and real life meetups that people could RSVP for and show up to. Now we've kind of really expanded it to where you can, friend couples, direct messaging. We have a space now called Circles in the app. So I think what's unique is there's a lot of people from all over the world. And we've met a lot of people from all over the world. And there's a ton of commonalities that we share. And so it's a space for you to go in. And if there's a topic you really want to talk about, like I think a really neat one is for those that are child-free by circumstance. They can kind of go in and have their own space. So for those that are child-free by circumstance, this is like your circle where you can pose or ask questions. Or if you want to talk about dealing with aging parents, or if you want to talk about a sport event or Mahjong, we have a group of folks that love to play Mahjong. So it's kind of the space where you don't necessarily have to be in person to connect.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that's really been popping off the most, of course, is the in real life events. And so we've made it to where, we're not hosting the events. Anybody can go in and create an event, what type of event they want to host. Do they want to limit the amount of people that can show up, etc.? And then it's really low lift. You RSVP, you show up and you meet couples near you that are hopefully doing living the similar lifestyle you are.
Yeah, I think what's neat also about our platform is that when the couples are creating your profile, each partner has their own individual login and their own kind of individual profile under the partner umbrella. So I have in there that, I like
to read
wine, I like to read, I'm a dog parent, whatever. And then he also has golf and also a dog parent. Like he has some of his own stuff. And then we also have what we both like on there as well. And so when we go look at another couple's profile, it'll show what we match on.
Yeah.
So I'll be able to see, oh, okay. So this couple, they also like, I don't know why I keep going to wine.
Traveling, horror movies.
Yeah.
So
you can see what you kind of match on, what you vibe together on. And so in these events, you can also see all the other couples that are going to be in attendance. So for all of us, I know we all stalk online. We want to pretend that we don't, but you can go into the profiles. You're like, okay, so these 5 couples are going. So you can go in and look at them, see what photos they're putting in their profile. You can stalk their picture of their pets, what they like to do, like whatever they put in their profile, you can read about it. So then when you go to this event, it's not, of course, there's still going to be a little bit of awkwardness, right? You're meeting people for the first time, but you at least have some background information and you could know, I'm probably going to get along with these folks. Like I know that there's some similarities, not just being child-free, right? It's child-free kind of started this connection, but then there's so much more to everyone else outside of just that one little aspect of our lives that we can connect on.
I think one thing that this has really highlighted is that there aren't enough conversations. Like the fact that you've created this space and it didn't already exist in itself, it's like there's not enough conversations and enough things out there for people that choose to be child-free, because I think it is, like we said, more people are making that decision now. It was less of the norm to make that decision maybe before. And then also what you said about people making the assumption it's a swingers app and those kind of things. Like there's still this thing about adult friendships, I think. It's such a big thing as well. I feel like people don't talk enough about the need for connection and friendships as an adult, and like how do you make friends as an adult? That's not it's not as natural as it is when you're a child and you're put into situations to make friends. Is there anything else or anything it's really highlighted to you where you've realized actually society's not talking enough about these certain topics, or where you don't feel like it's actually caught up with how things should be?
Well, I have one. I mean, I think one thing that's interesting, like if you were to go into the app and go through all the feeds, you actually don't see people talking a lot about not having children, but it's the things that they're able to do, right? Yeah. I think that the commonality is we don't have to worry about talking about it because we're kind of all in the same boat. So that's been really interesting. I think the other thing is we had lunch the other day, a couple weekends ago, with a child-free couple, and they just kind of chatted with us, and they're like, God, it's been really nice to just talk to someone where we don't feel like we're being judged, because we've never had that opportunity before. So I think, to your point, it's just knowing you've got people that are gonna not judge you for the decisions that you've made. I think you pointed out too, so I'll let you touch on this, but I think also what people assume in the real world when you're child free, that you're living this lavish lifestyle and you're traveling all the time and you're doing all this stuff. But I think, yeah, I mean, you've got a different perspective. I mean, we both do now, but I don't know if you want to touch on that more.
Yeah. One thing that, has popped up a lot, especially in the early days on our socials, because when we first started, I was, of course, posting about our life, right? And I also fully understand how privileged we are to be living here in the Netherlands, to be able to have access to travel kind of when we want, since we don't have kids. We do have dogs, we have dependents. But I acknowledge that. And, I was kind of posting about our DINK lifestyle of just this freedom, and we're going to Greece and now we're going here and look at this. And some people were saying, wow, I am being told by society that I'm a failure because I'm not having kids, but I also don't have all this money to travel and live lavishly. So now I feel like I'm failing as a DINK. And I was like, it really opened up my eyes, and I thought, that's so important, that living this DINK lifestyle, the stereotype is, woohoo, we have all this money, we have all this free time, we have no responsibilities, Peter Pan lifestyle, we're just, blowing with the breeze, doing our own thing. But in reality, a lot of folks have very important responsibilities, caring for aging parents, caring for siblings with disabilities. Maybe they're working certain government jobs that aren't very high paying. They have limited paid time off, so they're not off gallivanting and traveling everywhere. And I think it's very important that folks know that, even though folks are making decision or not making decisions to be child free, the DINK lifestyle, it absolutely varies between folks. This lifestyle, there is quite a range, and there's no right way to be a DINK. That's really, I think that's a very important call out. There's no right way to do this lifestyle. It's whatever feels the most authentic to you and your partner.
Yeah.
I love that. Absolutely love that. Because one of the things that we've mentioned and what we're seeing right now is especially the younger generations, they are struggling more and more to be able to afford a house, to be able to just, afford life in general. So many people also decide not to have kids because it's well, I'm struggling. I don't really want to have a kid that is struggling as well. And then what you just said, I think is going to be very important for them that are deciding not to have kids, but they're also not going to have the means to be on holiday every month or every quarter or whatever, right? So I think that's amazing. So this podcast is obviously targeted more to women. So I'm just going to ask you, if there is any women in their 30s, late 30s, early 40s, right? When they're now deciding yeah, I do not want kids. This is what it is. But they are facing those type of comments from family members or friends, their circle, now that you have been more maybe exposed to talking to other people that have had this backlash, what would you tell them?
Yeah, great question. So I think a couple of things. One, and it's something actually that I kind of face internally as well, is, it's okay if doubt every now and again kind of creeps up. It doesn't mean you are making the incorrect decision. It just means that you understand the weight of the decision and how important it is. And I also think what's important is to not compare yourself or your life to folks on social media. I, sometimes find myself scrolling and seeing all my friends. I'm like, oh my gosh, they look so cute with their families and their kids. And look at that, picture perfect. You're looking at a highlight reel. I know that my friends aren't posting videos of their kids' temper tantrums online, as they shouldn't, right? But you really are seeing a highlight reel. And so, I think it's important. Don't compare yourself, try your best to kind of drown out that noise. And if you didn't have social media, you didn't have anyone saying to you, oh, you should be a mother. You would be a great mother. You're going to regret it. Who's going to, if you don't have that and you just kind of plug your ears, like what decision would you make? Like what feels right to you? If you want to be a mother and you envision children in your future, go for it. Like that's amazing. If you don't, then don't. Like that's also an absolutely okay choice. But I also think that is important that, I'm not here telling anyone don't have children. That is not my stance. I want women to make the decision that they feel is best for them. And I know it's easier said than done to say, try to drown out that noise and just kind of see what you envision for yourself. But I think the other thing, like I said, is, you're going to question it either way. Like you're going to have times where you're like, well, what if I did have a kid? Okay. What if you did? Like you're going to have these questions either way, but as long as you kind of think about what you want and not what your family members are telling you, not what you're reading online, what you and your partner, I guess I should say, if you have one, what do you guys want together? What makes the most sense for you two?
And I think like what you said, like we need to apply it to every aspect of our lives, because I think we let the external noise control a lot of the decisions that we make and second guess what we think is right. And what you said as well, obviously, we don't want to tell women like you shouldn't have kids or you should have kids. That's why we want to have this conversation in the podcast. We want to be able to touch absolutely every single different ways that a woman can be fulfilling their lives, that being with kids, no kids, with a career and kids, and 1,000 cats like probably I'm going to have. So I think these conversations are really needed.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, I think we touched on this when we talked about choosing to be child-free before. It's like you say about all these comments that you get. It's totally fine if somebody thinks that people should have kids and that's what they want to do, but it's also fine if somebody makes a different choice. I think just people being educated on different choices so that they can make a conscious decision of what they want to do. Because I think sometimes we just go through life doing what we think we should do without really even stopping to think about it. So I think that's really important. So what's next for DINK Social? Do you have plans for new features on the app and things like that?
Yes. I would say one of the things that we most recently are focusing on is we've launched our first DINK Social group trip for next year. So we're going to Sardinia, Italy next May, which is going to be so much fun. We already have, obviously Charlie and I are going, and we have 7 other couples that are already signed up, and we have a few more available. So it's going to be so fun. I'm so excited. A week long in Italy with other couples in this community. So that's one thing. And we want to continue to do that because that's definitely a big highlight that our community has and wants, is they love to travel, as do Charlie and I. So it's something that folks have been asking for, kind of these group trips. So we're testing it out with Italy next May, and hopefully, fingers crossed, everything goes well. And then we can continue to kind of build out that side of DINK Social and that community is kind of these group travels. And then, of course, Charlie is working on, different features. Everything that we update in the app is really from feedback from the community. So we have a direct line to us where folks continuously provide us feedback. We have a group of about 9 or 10 couples who have been with us from the very beginning, like from the wait list. Like we're like the first people that put their email on the wait list, that are very active and involved, that we meet with on a regular basis to kind of hear what's going well, what's not going well, what do you want to see, what can we improve on. So we are constantly looking for ways to improve. And I think at the end of the day, I would love for DINK Social to really be the place that when people decide to be child-free or child free by circumstance and they think, where's this community? They think DINK Social. We want to be a household name for these folks. We want folks to join so that not only can they find community and find friendship, find support, but also resources. Like Charlie was saying earlier, aging parents, also, are folks retiring early? How are we managing our money? Who has a will, right? A lot of it, I shouldn't tell anyone this. We don't even have a will. Like, we need to get that together, but we don't have children. It's not top of our mind, right? So there's so many different discussions in the child-free space that we want folks to be able to use DINK Social for so that they can be educated, they can feel prepared for their future. So I just kind of wanted to be a household name. And when folks are like, oh, I'm child free, and they're like, are you on DINK Social? Are you a part of DINK Social? I would love for us to become big and just really be helpful for these dual income, no kid couples in their lives.
That's amazing. I mean, Tinder started like very small and look how big it got, and Bumble and all of those. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where DINK Social is going to go. And as you said, I think it's very important as well when you are a couple without kids and everybody else around you has kids, to be able to have a community of people that, if you want to go on a trip or you just want to have like dinner very late at night, you are able to do that, and you're able to maybe like not maybe resent your friends that have kids, or your friends that have kids resent you because of whatever. So I think it's great. Is there anything that you haven't talked about or we haven't talked about in the podcast that you want to mention?
I mean, I really think we've hit a lot of it. I think the only thing I would want to kind of drive home is, child-free people and couples that are looking for community are not anti-kids. We're not trying to drop all of our parent friends. Charlie and I are still very good friends with all of our friends who have kids. And we don't want this to just like replace everyone's friends or anything.
Mm-hmm.
We want it to be an add-on. We want it to be a supplement. I think sometimes, especially with some of the comments that I see, is they think we're anti-parents and, you're being bad friends. You don't want to be friends with your parent friends anymore. Like, that's so rude, but that's really not the case. We encourage all child-free couples to do their best to remain friends with parent friends. I think it's important to have a mix of folks in your friend groups, and you can learn a lot from parent friends, and also be a part of that village. And of course, ideally, when you are friends with parents, there's also still kind of that reciprocal friendship. I know it can be not 50-50 all the time because parents obviously have kids and kids come first and they've got a lot going on. So sometimes maybe a child-free person has to kind of give 70% at times. But I would hope that whenever that child-free person is in need and needs help, then the parent will then give 70% and kind of help out. And there is that reciprocity in the friendship. But I think that's the biggest thing, is we want to be a supplement. We want to be an add-on. That's the only other add-on.
Be able to have the best of both worlds, right? So you have your friends from forever, and then you also have other friends that you can do different things with.
It's like I said earlier, though, like I've made so many friends through having a child. So now, like, I have my friends that are child free, but I've made so many friends. The people that I need to go to the park with and, go get ice cream or whatever and do all those things that need to be done. So it's only fair that it's the same the other way, right? And you have the opportunity to spend time with other people as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody's listening to this, they're like, okay, I need to be on this app. This sounds amazing. Where are they going? Where do they find you? And all of that good stuff.
Yeah, they can find us through our website at dinksocial.com or on the Android or Apple Store. We're on both, so they can just type in DINK Social and download the app.
Yeah. And we're on all social medias as well. you're a DINK listening to this, we've probably come across somehow your feed at some point or another. But yeah, you can also, for anyone that isn't sure, you can take a look at our socials and see what we're about and what we're not about, of course, and decide if it's a community you'd like to join, which I hope it is.
Yeah.
It's
And
still
I mean,
free. So
yeah,
it's low limit.
and I would say as well for maybe couples going through infertility or going through processes like the one that I am going through, check them out because it really helps you reading everything that is in their Instagram to kind of like see that, if it doesn't happen for you, it's not the end, that there is amazing people out there, that you're still going to have a really, really, really fulfilled life.
Very true. Very true. Well said.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's been so interesting to hear about your journey and how you've created the app, and it sounds brilliant. I mean, if I didn't have a child, I'd be on it. So if you want to make, if you want to make a sister app for parents after, then that's always a route you could go down. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. It's been great, and I encourage everybody listening, if it's something you're interested in, definitely go and check them out. And we shall see you on the next episode. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, y'all. Thank you very much.